Yo, what's good? How's everyone doing? Is the volume good? Trying a bit different setup this time. Yeah. Ooh, hype. Sick. How's everyone doing? Got a little bit different of a setup this time. I don't know why the socials aren't on there. Oh, that's why. Ha. Got him. How's everyone's weekend? Let's see. What are we talking about today? Insomniac partners with Warped Tour. DJ Snake putting out bass music. Rick Rubin talking about producing. Okeechobee. Fred again. Limp Bizkit. Some music production stuff. And maybe Ticketmaster getting hacked. Oh, yeah. Sick. All right. Okay, so got a couple of people in here. I have a new setup. Is this better? Is it better like this? Where you can like see me over here. And you can see the pumpkins right there. And then you've got the article there. Well, I guess we're going to find out. Oh, wait, let me record this. Get out of here. What the heck? Why is that not going away? Computers, man. Okay. All right, we're recording. Sick. All right. First thing. Here. Insomniac. I got a new chair, so if you see me wiggling around, I'm still figuring this chair out. It's kind of like, there we go. All right. See, and I can like zoom in like this and stuff, I think. Yeah. I don't know. I like this better personally. Okay. Insomniac partners with Warped Tour for 30th anniversary in 2025. I just read the headline. Seems hype. Insomniac has joined the Vans Warped Tour chat. Recognized as one of the most successful and longest running festivals of its kind, Warped Tour will be celebrating its 30th anniversary in 2025. With Insomniac's help catalyzing the platform for the future, featuring 3 two-day festivals in Washington, D.C., Long Beach, California, and Orlando, Florida, Vans Warped Tour will revive the magic for both longtime fans and newcomers alike. After concluding its final cross-country tour in 2018, that was so long ago. That was a long... I went to Warped Tour in like 2008 to 2013, 14. I feel like that was like peak Warped Tour. After concluding its final cross-country tour in 2018 and hosting a memorable 25th anniversary event, the iconic festival will have continued focus on community and nurturing the next generation of artists, musicians, and skateboarders. Each stop will showcase 70 to 100 bands, reflecting the wide range of genres, including but not limited to rock, punk rock, alternative, pop punk, emo, and more. The return of Vans Warped Tour will combine beloved festival favorites from the last 30 years of Warped Tour, as well as a diverse lineup of new acts. Now, with Insomniac partnering with them, is there going to be dance music? Do we think there's going to be dance music? I mean, they put like Crisley, and stuff, and like Big Chocolate, which are the homies now, crazy, that I like saw them at Warped Tour and now are like good friends, I would say. But it's crazy to see how people have progressed since the Warped Tour days, right? Like the bands that were like just getting their start and stuff back in the day, are now like headlining everything and on their own tours and have put out multiple albums, right? Let's keep going. As Warped Tour gears up for its return, Warped Tour and Insomniac founders reflect on the new partnership and shared vision. Kevin Lindman, founder of Warped Tour, shares, "People are craving connection, live music, and the raw, unfiltered experience that Warped Tour has always offered. We've seen how music continues to unite and inspire, and this return isn't just about nostalgia. It's about giving a new generation the chance to feel the same sense of belonging and freedom that Warped Tour has always championed. Insomniac is a company I've always admired, so when the opportunity to collaborate arose, I couldn't say no. I thought, why the hell not? Let's dive in and make this happen." Yeah, this is really tight, honestly. He says, "It's very exciting to partner with Kevin to bring Warped Tour back. He's built an incredible legacy that celebrates the heart of live music, and we're energized to create a rad festival that honors the spirit of Warped Tour. We both prioritize culture and community and focus on keeping the fan experience at the forefront, which is why this partnership feels so natural." I definitely will say Insomniac has like the kind of like the chokehold on, not chokehold, but like they've got the grip on the live music experience, especially for like EDM and stuff, right? So let's see here. Vans Warped Tour dates and tickets. $150 for tickets. Okay. I mean, that's not terrible. I feel like I remember paying like 80, back in the day, but inflation, right? $30 in fees. Jesus. As Vans Warped Tour gears up for a milestone this year, its partnership with Insomniac ensures that the festival will not only rekindle the iconic spirit, but will also evolve with fresh, forward-thinking elements. With unforgettable performances and immersive experiences, the 2025 return promises to capture the magic that has made Warped Tour a cultural phenomenon for 3 decades. That's crazy. It's been around for 30 years. That's like that's a long time for a running festival, right? To keep going the entire time. So yeah, I mean, this makes me happy because it's like 2 of my favorite, event organizers and brands coming together to probably bring a festival that has all my favorite music and all the bands I want to see. And some of the bands that changed my life, I saw for the first time at Warped Tour, right? And so when and then same thing, like the Insomniac events that I've gone to are like game changer. Every single one of them, they're so thought out. As I've never had a bad experience at one, but I know people who have, and that's just, I mean, nobody bats 1,000, right? But I guess my thoughts on it are just like, this is only hype. This is bullish, right? So yeah, this is something I'm really looking forward to. With Warped Tour and Insomniac, like I said, just me personally, and I would probably guess that a lot of other people have been affected by both brands a lot over the last even 20 years, right? But I remember when Warped Tour died, it was not died, but when it when it retired, I guess, I was like, man, things are different now. The future is here. And to think that was almost 7 years ago. Oh my gosh. That's so long. That's so long. It doesn't feel like that. It really doesn't. All right, let's see. Here we go. DJ Snake launches bass alias The Outlaw with remix of Hitta. This is dope because one of the homies was collabing with him on this one. And it's just so cool to see not only bass music thriving, but the people who have been putting in the work in bass music get the recognition that they deserve. And I'm not talking about DJ Snake and Flosstradamus, right? But like people like Viperactive, and Bilo and his new project, Trickstar with OK. It's like, dude, finally, right? Getting that recognition. Let's see what's up. Is this look all right? All right, cool. DJ Snake has officially launched his bass focus alias, The Outlaw, kicking things off with a powerful remix of Flosstradamus and Viperactive's Hitta, teaming up with Trickstar, the joint project of OK and Bilo, the homie. This remix delivers a high-energy fusion of trap and bass that signals a bold new direction for DJ Snake. This track was first teased at his viral Lost Lands performance, generating a major excitement among fans. An Easter egg is sent out to fans who download the remix, offering a subtle hint about an upcoming major announcement. We'll go to that link in a sec. Known for constantly evolving his sound, DJ Snake created The Outlaw to explore heavier bass-driven music, breaking free of the constant restraints he felt in his previous work. So this right here, this is something I feel like I personally can relate to a ton, right? As you know, I used to do the Mad Hatter Project. I did the Mad Hatter Project for 10 years, right? And with the breaking away from all those things that you did, but still having the knowledge and capabilities, starting a new project from scratch, it's one of the most like validating feelings when you get, you know, music where you want it to be, or you achieve something that you wanted to do with kind of leaving some of your previous work behind. It's one of those things that it's like, it's hard to explain in like a couple sentences, but I really can relate to kind of breaking away from, you know, feeling trapped in your old brand and your old project, but still having that capability to deliver and go in a new direction without freaking people out, you know. The project stems from his desire to delve into raw underground bass vibes without feeling pressured to stay mainstream. His collaboration with Trickstar on the Hitta remix blends massive bass lines with hard-hitting drops, creating a track perfect for festivals and bass-heavy events. DJ Snake has mentioned that The Outlaw allows him to return to his roots, fully embracing the harder side of electronic music that he's always been passionate about. He shares that the project has given him freedom to create without limits, the sentiment echoed in the intensity of the Hitta remix. And again, like just seeing that, you know, Bilo and OK with their Trickstar project getting that recognition and the nod, not only the nod, but like, you know, the big collab and stuff, putting everything they've been doing on the map. It's just really, really humbling to see, you know. They absolutely deserve it, for one, and to see DJ Snake like wanting to not ditch DJ Snake. I'm sure he'll always do something, but that's like, I guess it's like his radio brand, right? It's not like something that I feel like with like, you know, your Skrillex types, they can kind of do whatever because they paved the way for everyone. Whereas like DJ Snake, I feel like got his fame mostly from the radio hits and, you know, things like that. So, we're going to jump over to the next one here. I'm just going to kind of run through them today. This is tight. Why does my phone keep going off? It's going crazy today. It's going crazy. There we go. Okay. Had to mute it. All right. I didn't read this article, just the headline. Fair warning. The rules regarding the right way to do it, none of those are real. You can discard all of them. Rick Rubin says there's no right way to make music. Yes, I highly agree. Music is so subjective, and if I learned one thing from all the analog heads that I was taught by in college, is that if it sounds good, it's all that matters. You know, technique is good, workflow is good, but ultimately, sometimes it comes together in a way that you wouldn't have been able to like plan out or calculate, right? It says here, the legendary producer champions improvisation and changing your techniques for each new project. And I think like with bass music and EDM, this is one of those things that's kind of like required almost. And to a degree where it's like, you know, you want to find your sound, but you also always want to be evolving at the same time. It's a difficult medium to find, but if you're just constantly exploring and you're constantly trying new things, you're eventually going to get to the point where you have a good workflow. You have a good workflow for swinging out for the fences, right? But then you also have a good workflow for being able to channel that into a sound that, or into a project that makes sense, you know? Let's keep going here. Producer extraordinaire Rick Rubin says there's no right way to make music. He's 61, that's nuts. The 61-year-old who's produced everybody from Slayer to Adele across his 40-plus year career offers the insight during a new interview with YouTuber Rick Beato. Rubin explains that Rubin explains that he's never one to write off particular equipment or a way of recording, explaining that what works for one artist may not work for another. I think in general, all the philosophical ideas like it's better to make music with a click track, it's better to make music without, it's better to record on tape, digital, whatever it is, it's always case specific. There's no right answers. I tell my students that all the time. There is no 100% right answer, as long as it sounds good. It's nice to record on tape. Sometimes it's nice to record digitally. The producer later adds, there's a real freedom knowing that none of the rules about the right way to do it, none of those are real. Those are all made up rules. You can discard all of them. You can use them if they're helpful, but as soon as they get in the way, discard them. There's no truly right way to do any of it. And I highly agree with all that. Rubin continues by citing Linkin Park as an example. Rubin produced the Nu Metal Star's third studio album, Minutes to Midnight, which came out in 2007. The album topped the charts around the world and spawned such fan-favorite singles, What I've Done and Bleed It Out. I remember when I produced Linkin Park the first time, the idea of them playing together as a band was so alien to them, he remembers. I think they'd made 3 records before that. I never know what I don't know what that means. I see that in articles all the time. I don't know what that is. Not only had they never played together in any of their records, they never played their songs together until they played them on stage. They were always made in the studio. That's how they worked. Rubin set out to challenge the band and was curious to see if they would yield any new or interesting ideas. We tried playing together in the studio, and it was interesting sometimes, but it didn't have to be that way. It's always interesting to test the way you've done it before. Is there a new way? Elsewhere in the interview, Rubin admits he still doesn't know the right way to program an 808 machine because he didn't have the instruction manual. He just found it and sounds came out. Yeah, and like his comment on the 808 machine, it's like, that's a lot of digital production, right? With when you're in a place where you're looking to see what you can do and you can see what you can get out of the speakers, you don't need to follow the rules until it starts to sound like something you could use, you know? And even then, like, there's the steps that you need to take to make a good record. It's not a formulaic step, right? It's there's a workflow, not a formula. The formula would be like the arrangement and the build to the chorus to the, you know, all the phrasing and stuff. But I wouldn't say there's necessarily a formula for experimentation, right? The formula comes once you've experimented, and then you take that experimentation and format it into a listenable format in a listenable way. All right, let's see here. I'm going to skip this one, actually. All right, Fred again. Boop. It's nicer to be in the world as opposed to in some room with no natural light. Why Fred again prefers writing outside of the studio. I think it just keeps your brain alive and moving. Which, I've done this some in the past, but it's something like, after reading this, I'm kind of like thinking, maybe I should just go outside. Let's see. Fred again is likelier to be found beavering away on new music in the cafe rather than a studio. The producer's real name, Fred Gibson, gave a rare interview to the legendary YouTube veteran Nardwar, where they had an in-depth chat about his life in music. Excuse me. Ooh, Celsius. He admits that he favors writing in places besides studio as he finds a changing environment more creatively stimulating. There was a coffee shop in London. He says one of his favorite spots to work. They'd bring out the extension cord. I got too comfy to the point where I was plugging the interface in a mic. It's nicer to be in the world as opposed to in some closed off room with no natural light. I think the reason why I like writing in places that aren't studios and out in the world is because you get this constant collage of humanity. This thing just walking by, it's always moving and changing. It just keeps your brain alive and moving versus gradually getting stiller and stiller and stiller in the vacuum of a dark room. And you can have light in a studio. It doesn't need to be a dark room. Gibson later discusses his frequent collaborator Fortet, but more specifically in reference to his former post-rock band Fridge. I think he's got very exploratory, childlike mindset, which makes everything he does have this kind of through line to me. That's weird. I think he could do 20 different bands and they would all have the same sort of Kieran-ness to me. He also touches on his work with Brian Eno, who recently introduced him to Underworld. Gibson went to catch the recent show at London's Alexandra Palace with Skrillex saying, Sonny walked in and was like, this is the rarest crowd dynamic I've seen in years. Could you imagine like Skrillex just walking into your show and be like, this crowd is crazy? Think about the variety of people that come into a Skrillex show or, a Fred Again show, and them coming in just being impressed with the crowd, right? That's nuts. But yeah, so I think like when it comes to producing and your environment for production, it's a case by case thing, kind of like Rick Rubin was saying. It's not this, it's where you feel most comfortable, I'm always a fan of like switching it up and keeping things fresh. I personally don't think I could like lock in a studio or in a, I personally don't think I could lock in a cafe or coffee shop or something. But if I'm just piddling and experimenting and just trying new stuff, or maybe walking around with a recorder, my phone or something, and just messing around, I feel like I would like take an environment in, but to really channel it and make a track, I like to be isolated, but everyone's different, right? I don't think there's any wrong way to do it. I really think it's just, where do you feel most comfortable producing your music? And where do you get the best results? If you get the best results on the curb outside of your house, like run the extension cord out there, get it done. If you feel like the best way to produce is being completely isolated, turning the Wi-Fi off, turning the phone off, that's typically what I like to do. Is just, when I have an idea, I need to just think. But not everybody has the opportunity to do that. So you got to make the best of whatever your situation is. If you can't lock in a studio all the time, find a different way to lock in, I think it's great advice from Fred again. I think it's a different perspective on how many different ways that you can just be inspired and creative. All right, next one here. Homie's looking old. Why won't it zoom in? There we go. There we go. All right. Limp Bizkit are suing Universal Music over alleged unpaid royalties. Lawyers for the nu metal band and its frontman Fred Durst claim that possibly hundreds of other artists have unfairly had their royalties wrongfully withheld for years by the company. Is that really surprising? Is that really surprising at all? Because it's not to me personally. It's really not. But let's see what's up. Limp Bizkit are all the rage again thanks to the nu metal's post-pandemic revival. Except, according to a new lawsuit, they allegedly hadn't seen a cent from until recently. The band and frontman Fred Durst are suing Universal Music Group for $200 million, having the filed lawsuit in Los Angeles federal court the 8th of October. Lawyers for Durst and the band claim that Limp Bizkit and possibly hundreds of other artists have unfairly... Okay, we read that. They further allege that UMG deliberately designed this policy to hide royalties from artists so that the label could keep those profits for itself. Despite this tremendous comeback, the band still had not been paid a single cent by UMG in any royalties until taking action against UMG, leading one to ask how on earth that could possibly be true. UMG's creation of such a system while holding itself out as a company that prides itself on investing and protecting artists makes plaintiffs' discovery of UMG's scheme all the more appalling and unsettling. And okay, earlier this year, right, there was the battle of like TikTok and like Universal and Sony and these big corporate labels were like, oh, we need to stand up for our artists and blah blah blah. It's like, bro, you're just trying to get your check. Don't like front and like hide behind humility and protecting artists when, according to this lawsuit, like you don't even pay them anyways, right? Durst explained that he had been informed by UMG that he had not received any royalty statements because UMG told him over the years that it was not required to provide them since his account was still so far from recoupment. Durst's representatives, suspicious that UMG was wrongfully claiming plaintiffs' accounts were unrecouped, suggested investigating further. After questioning UMG's accounting and payment practices, Durst's lawyers claim they have discovered that Limp Bizkit's account held over $1 million, and the label failed to alert the band about the money. The filing went on. UMG's UMG's failure to issue royalty statements, in particular from 1997 to 2004, the height of the band's fame during periods which they made record-breaking sales, with respect to its most popular album, suggesting that UMG was intentionally concealing the true amount of sales. Therefore, royalties due and owing to Limp Bizkit in order to unfairly keep those profits for itself. In response, UMG says that Limp Bizkit has been paid $43 million in recoupable advances over the years, which was apparently why the royalties had only just begun entering the accounts. Durst's lawyer added that UMG eventually released $1.03 million to the band and $2.3 million to Durst's label Flawless Records. However, they claim that they are still owed much more money. UMG has not responded to the lawsuit. What's good, Parker? Yeah, these greedy-ass labels just irk me. They irk me because it's like, it's where the big money is, and it's like, if you want to make it as an artist, you kind of got to like, that's the lane you got to be in, and so it's good that they have good enough lawyers to like go and fight and like really elbow their way towards getting what they deserve. But for Universal Music to, be on this protecting artists thing and like hiding behind the good deeds of protecting their artists, it's like, bro, don't front. You know what I mean? You're here to get your bag. And again, like, I think I see a lot of bigger artists kind of taking steps like this where it's like they're trying to get their money's worth and they're trying to get the money. Like, how have they not repaid their recouped their investment, right? There's no way. And from 97 to 2004, like, that was peak Limp Bizkit, right? So if you were alive then, they were just always on the radio, always on the radio, playing huge festivals, like always, right? And so there's no way that they didn't go and oh, sorry, PJ, my bad. But yeah, there's no way that Limp Bizkit never recouped their advance from the label. There's no way that they fronted them $43 million to, have the Limp Bizkit project do its thing. So, yeah, just another case of greed in the music industry. Not uncommon at all. Let's see here. Okay, I don't know who the person is in this article, but I read the headline and I was like, I tell my students that a lot. It says here, everyone likes to hear the human voice, even if it's just a vocal chop or a texture. Why Nina Girachi loves experimenting with vocal elements in songs. I also love to fully reverb out vocals and resample that. Yeah, this is a technique I've done for a long time, like taking a vocal sample, 100% reverb, freeze that or record that into a new audio track or something. I think it's more about having a vocal or humanistic element to attach to, which in turn translate to something being singable, right? And if you can have that singability and someone can be like, the song that goes wah 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 wah, like you automatically know what song I'm talking about, right? Let's read here. Electronic DJ and producer Nina Geraci, I really hope I'm saying that right, has opened up about her production process and her love for including elements of the human voice in songs. Excuse me. The 25-year-old musician speaks in the latest Music Tech digital cover, where she takes us through a new full-length release, Girl EDM Disc 1, as the creative philosophies that underpin her work. Explaining her process, Nina says that she's all about treating her vocals with a light touch. It sounds really basic, but I love to use delay in interesting ways, having the delay kind of pitch bend, then resampling that you can often yield interesting results. I also love to fully reverb vocals and sample that. This is something I do a lot, because you're applying this like subconscious layer of that human element that people can kind of relate to, but they don't. It's not like this dominating element in a mix, right? Like a pad or something, right? I find having some element of vocal in every song makes it feel more familiar. She adds, everyone likes to hear the human voice, even just a vocal chop or texture. And I'll say this, when she's saying everyone likes to hear the human voice, that is your monkey brain attaching yourself to something that sounds familiar, right? That is like a subconscious, part of your brain that you're naturally going to gravitate towards music that has vocal elements in it. This would be great to watch if I smoke weed. It's like really deep thoughts. This is just my stream of consciousness, fully sober. Okay, this is just me on a Monday. But yeah, so like if you can always have some kind of vocal element, going throughout, whether it's during the drop, in a build-up, whatever, that's something that's just naturally going to help people gravitate towards your track, getting more listens, blah, 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 right? As a songwriter, Nina constantly draws inspiration from the world around her, capturing snippets of everyday life to infuse into her music. I'm voice memoing all the time, she says. I like to be surprised by stuff that I hear, just going about my day. It's so much fun. And I will say, I've been, by myself out in public, and I'll have an idea and I'll be in the middle of the store like right, and that's enough for me to attach back to that idea when I get back home or in front of a computer. Like, use the tools at your disposal. And if you have a Mac, you can just airdrop that sample right to your computer, no questions asked. It just does it, right? Makes it so much easier. I imagine you sitting in the woods with Wooks just saying deep thoughts like this about music. Yeah. What do you think this stream is, bro? Out of the woods onto your phone. Okay, not too much longer here. I thought it was a long one. But here we go. The musician also enjoys sampling her own tracks and breathing new life into familiar sounds. Prime example is Nina Kamina, a collaboration with British-American producer Izzy Kamina, which samples Tian Kang, an ambient cut from her 2022 release, Second Nature. The track itself samples a snippet from a YouTube documentary about China's sinkhole. I'm not even going to attempt to say that. Sampling is so fun because samples are so frequency rich. You kind of put a whole song in one little bit of audio, and by doing that, from my own discography, I also avoid any copyright problems. Sample your own stuff. If you've made something that you really like, right, or if there's like a sample that you use a lot, like you can resample it into like 6 different versions and use that in 6 different songs. And then each one of those is unique in its own way, and you can just continue to branch out that way. Also in the chat, Nina Geraci talks about her disappointing encounter with AI music generators in the studio, saying we didn't get anything good. Yeah, you probably won't. But yeah, kind of back to the subject matter here. If you can always have some kind of human element in your track, sometimes I'll even like beatbox over my drums. Like I feel like that's enough a lot of the times. Let's see here. Looks like we got one more. This one's kind of old. The other one's older. We'll do this one. There we go. All right, wrapping it up a little bit early. Try and just blast through it. Ticketmaster hacked. Users report stolen tickets. Love the stock footage here. Does that look good? Okay, cool. Concert goers have been reporting their tickets have been mysteriously disappearing from their Ticketmaster accounts. This alarming issue has come to light following a data breach earlier this year. Was that the big hack that happened with, oh my gosh, it like shut down the airports and stuff. But how many data breaches? I remember like when like data breaches were like this big national news. I feel like they happen all the time now, and like nobody talks about them. Victims of the ticket theft have reported losing tickets to various events, including concerts and musicals. Some have incurred significant financial losses due to the disappearance of their tickets. One victim reported her family lost over $1,200 in tickets that were transferred to an unknown account. Another one lost Pink concert tickets that she had received as a gift. And a third victim had her $3,500 Taylor Swift ticket stolen from her account. Could you imagine? Would you still be a Swiftie after that? Day 810 asking for a Rocket League stream. I will do a Rocket League stream. Maybe tonight. Maybe tonight. This week is hard. I have a lot going on this week. But I will probably do it tonight. Because it's time, right? It's time. I've been practicing. I've been grinding, you know. The increasing number of reports suggests a data breach may have exposed significant number of user accounts. The Shiny Hunters hacker group claimed to have accessed 1.3 terabytes of data from Ticketmaster, including sensitive information like credit card numbers and payment details. I feel like everybody's credit card is just cooked at this point. The incident has led to a class action lawsuit against Live Nation and Ticketmaster, alleging anti-competitive practices. Ticketmaster claims that user passwords are not compromised in the breach, but the growing number of affected users raises concerns about the security of the platform. Yeah, I don't doubt that at all. And like, dude, how many class action lawsuits does Live Nation have against it at this point? So many, dude. Like, this is episode 11 of this, and I think probably 3 or 4 of the weeks that I've been doing this, there have been Live Nation class action lawsuits against against them. Like it's crazy how much those guys get sued. Their legal team must just be like insanely busy or insanely overworked or both. So yeah, doing a little bit shorter of a stream today. That was basically it. Feel free to go back and watch the stream. I'm be cutting this up into videos. We're talking about Vans, Warped Tour, and Insomniac. What does he say? He says there's at least one person out there that has your credit card information. Yeah, and that sucks. That sucks. And it's just one of those things where it's just like. So we talked about Vans, Warped Tour, and Insomniac. DJ Snake doing bass music. Rick Rubin talking about the right way to make music. Fred again, Limp Bizkit suing UMG, Ticketmaster getting hacked, and putting vocal elements in music. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Shout out PJ for jumping in the chat. Solo Dolo. Appreciate it, man. But yeah, I'm going to cut out of here, and I will catch y'all next time. Peace.